Candidates, you each have 90 seconds to introduce yourself, and in doing so, consider the following broad question, if you will. Would you agree that we can invest in greenhouse gas emissions reductions and socioeconomic wellness at the same time? And how would you prioritize your choices?
Hello. My name is Greg Guevara. On the ballot, I'm Gregory Dreg Guevara. I am running on an Ottawa exit campaign. I believe Ottawa should separate from the rest of Canada. And part of the reason I believe that is because I think it would be very good for the environment. You know, this idea of balancing economy and environment, they've always seemed like polar opposites to me. But there actually is a way to balance the environment and the economy. There's a very easy way of doing it, and I'll get to it later. I'll just say, let me tell you a story first. When I was a kid, I kept up with climate news a lot, and it was very disheartening for me. And I know a lot of people who they got disheartened following climate news. And it's really important that we keep trying to make the climate better, even if things seem bad. Even if you read disheartening headlines, and even if those headlines seem to be getting worse and worse. So here's what I'll say. I'll say it's about time, This thing that I'm about to suggest, it is extremely urgent that we get on it as soon as possible. But before I get to it, I just want to say I walked here. And I don't know if anyone else walked here, but I walked. I won't say from where, but I did walk. So anyway, so this is the thing that was going to make sure that on a municipal level, we are going to actually change things, okay? Are you guys listening? Yeah? All right. So what we have to do is essentially we all need to get together, and as soon as possible, we need, are you guys listening?
Time. Candidate. I told you we're serious here, very serious. Should the City of Ottawa do more to protect the safety of Ottawa's drinking water, to come up with a better long-term approach to managing radioactive waste?
I hear about this kind of stuff, and it really makes me think. We keep trying new ways of making this work, this environmental issue work. Oh, there he goes. And we keep, now, you try one thing, poisons the air. Okay, now we're trying this other thing, radioactive waste in the water. Have we ever just considered, like, giving up? Have you ever heard, there's this movement, it's called the Voluntary Human Extinction movement. I have a picture of it here. It's VHEMT, and basically it just says, at a certain point, it's time to give up. Now, I don't believe in any of that, because I think that we can do it, but that's just, something swimming around in my mind, and I think should swim around in yours as well.
Thank you, candidate. We've got a couple of poll questions just to make sure you folks are engaged, and we engage the candidates as well. So candidates, thumbs up, thumbs down, or a flat hand if you prefer not to answer the following questions, one at a time. First question, Ottawa should manage future growth within its current urban boundary. Canada is an example of an urban community wanting to protect its green space. Urban sprawl is also a concern. How do you propose Ottawa should manage boundary issues and the pressure of urban development while providing accessible green space and agricultural land?
One thing I'd like to invite everybody to do during these talks is to think about the kind of axioms we are entering these discussions with, the philosophical presuppositions that we have before we start talking about things. For example, we assume that we need to grow by 500,000 people, but if we had a big wall around us, that wouldn't happen. Just saying. The other thing is, if we separated, we could control our urban sprawl. Airports, like what are we doing with we don't need airports after we have a big wall around us. We could turn that into agricultural space, What do we want? Big wall? When do we want it? Big wall, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, candidate. What would you do to reduce plastics and solid waste and extend the life of our trail road landfill, for example?
Part of what makes my campaign special is we are always open to new ideas. So Lynn just suggested we catapult the waste over the wall. And I just think that's that's a really good idea. I will just also use this time to address a question I was asked, who's going to pay for all of this. So once we pull out of the global economy, we can print our own money, called modern monetary theory. Got something to do with a tap and a drain, and you can print as much money as you want, and taxes like the drain. I don't fully understand it, but I'm willing to commit to it.
There's a strong perception that City Hall is owned by the developers. Every time a city councilor votes in favor of development, 5% of the value of that money gets deposited in their account for their own use. My question is, can you all raise your hands? How many of you are taking developers' money right now? So just put your hands in the air if you've taken developers' money.
The format, sir, is to direct your question to a maximum of 3 candidates.
I'm not asking for a response, I'm just asking for a vote. For them to, all they need to do is put your hands in the air if you're taking developers' money. It's much faster than asking each one to ask questions.
I'm not, but if anyone knows any developers, send them my way. I could use some.
Ottawa is an embassy town. The embassy of Communist China is here. The communist regime killed 80 million Chinese people during peacetime, and the Chinese embassy actively export the regime's persecution of Chinese people back from China to Ottawa, Canada.
This is another problem that would be solved with a wall.
My question will be for Mark Sutcliffe, Catherine McKenna, and Greg, because you are entertaining, man. Okay, so, I lead the 613-819 Black Hub. Like the pandemic, climate change has a disproportionate impact on marginalized groups like Black, Indigenous, and LGBTQ folks. That's a problem. To fix any problem, you need money. The current situation in Ottawa is that the Ottawa Police Service has a budget of $400 million, including a 2022 dry cleaning budget of $495,000, and climate change has a budget of 2.5. So would you shift money from the Ottawa Police to climate change?
As mayor, I would be one of the most marginalized groups. There's like one mayor. And so I would take all the money from climate change and I would put it into my own personal police force so that I would be protected. And that might be the most effective way to protect a marginalized group, me.
It is now time to move to closing statements.
I, started off this debate a little bleak, but I just want to say, after hearing some suggestions, there's a lot of really cool, really big ideas being proposed here that have really filled me with hope, like no free transit.
I have never promised free transit for everyone.
And ban plastic straws, maybe.
We're going to eliminate the use of plastic straws and other single-use plastics at Ottawa City Hall and other city facilities throughout the community.
So I feel good. I feel good about what was proposed. I feel like we're on the right track.